Hey everybody, it's John again, Contract Diagnostics. I love talking with you guys, and I love whether it's on video or it's doing a podcast. It's really fun. So if we can help anybody out there with their podcast or with their content or educational information at their program, we'd love to. Please reach out and give us a call. But today I want to talk about compensation data. Now, we've talked a lot about compensation data. I know there's a lot out there on compensation data. I know, Doximetry has reports. Medscape just had a report. MGMA data is out in some situations. It's coming out to the mass in, I think, 2 or 3 weeks in 2023 here. And of course, we'll have access to it here at Contract Diagnostics. You've got Sullivan Cotter, you've got, surveys. There's all kinds of data. We have our own proprietary data at Contract Diagnostics, which is real and real time. So we know what happened yesterday as far as the contracts that we reviewed. But what's in a number? And I kind of link it to a cholesterol number. Maybe without the family history, maybe without the history of the patient understanding their activity levels or their dietary choices, or if they even smoke or not. And how important is a specific number? And of course, just because you have the number doesn't mean you know what to do with it. So a lot of patients out there might not know if they have a LDL cholesterol of 96, if that's good or bad, right? And of course, the goals have changed over the years. What was 130 became 70, is now changing. And so it's important to understand LDL, but there's also different particle sizes of LDL. That's important to understand in some situations. Some patients may have a genetic mutation. Some patients may smoke. Some patients may have a higher LDL, but their HDL is 130s. Or their triglycerides are low or high. So one number is hard to say, I have a good contract, I have a bad contract. I make this much money and someone else, the average is that, so I should ask for that. It's not all about a specific number. The story matters. And that's why we feel putting context around compensation numbers is so super important, because everything matters about the employer, about how many physicians they have there. What's your job? If you're looking at the average dermatologist makes X dollars in a community, you don't know who's working 4 days and who's working 5 days. You don't know who's been out for 2 years and who's been out for 20 years. So it's important to who's on a guarantee model and who's on a production only model. So it's important to take all those things into consideration when it comes to evaluating your contract, not just getting a number and saying the average dermatologist in this particular city makes this much money. And you're saying, I'm higher, I'm lower, that's good, that's bad. Because everything matters. And we think it's important to put all that stuff into perspective when you're evaluating your contract. Obviously, benefits matter. So maybe the average is $400,000, but maybe you get an extra week of vacation and the average vacation is less, or vice versa. Or maybe you can't cash out your vacation policies, but everyone else can. So you can accrue dates and get paid out at the end of the contract for unused dates. Maybe some contracts have language in them about termination pay, and you don't. So maybe you have a little bit more money that you make every year, but if and when you leave, you might leave $50,000 or $100,000 or more on the table. Tail insurance is another whole different thing, right? Just because you make okay money today doesn't mean that you won't pay $100,000 or $50,000 or somewhere higher or lower to tail out of the contract if and when that happens. And all of those things matter when you look at the total compensation. Retirement plans matter. Lots of data, MGMA included, when they look at TCC or total cash compensation, they input retirement contributions from the employer into the total figure. But again, that still doesn't tell the whole story, because there might be vesting periods to the 401k, there might be all other types of asterisks with regards to the plan. If you're a private practice physician, maybe it says you make more money, but maybe you're paying more in taxes because you don't have access to a retirement plan. Or conversely, maybe you have a cash balance plan and a profit sharing plan and a 401k option. Okay, so you might be able to put away $300,000 or more in untaxed revenue, untaxed dollars per year into retirement accounts. So all those things matter versus looking at a number. So if you look at a number and you see the average physician in my market makes this, or somebody started in my market making that yesterday, what does it mean? Feel free to give us a call at Contract Diagnostics, and we can take any numbers that you have and put them into perspective. We can share our numbers and talk to you about your situation and how your situation specifically impacts what your numbers should be. And of course, we can customize an approach to you, which is what this takes, because you and your particular job and your particular market and your particular story with your family and everything else is unique. And not one number, one average, one mean, one range can define everything about your particular position. So if we can help evaluate anything, of course, give us a call at Contract Diagnostics. You can interact with us in a lot of ways, from a free consult to a chat that we have on the website, to joining us for one of our free educational talks, to a text program, to anything. So give us a call, hit contractdiagnostics.com, and if we can help with anything, of course, we'll be here. Just reach out.